the tougher, more resilient team tonight won, and unfortunately, that wasn't us. Credit to Coach Brown and his staff and his players for doing those things that were necessary to come out of here with a win. It's obviously hurtful to lose, but it's more hurtful to lose when you lose to your own identity. I've tried to build this program on toughness and resiliency, and tonight it was, without the benefit of looking at the film, obviously we did a lot of things wrong physically, but I think just the will, their will was a little greater than ours tonight.
How concerning is that for you moving forward?
That hasn't been us. So I don't want to overreact, but that was us today. And so it needs to be addressed. And, guys have to own what happened tonight. There's no two ways about it. I'm kind of shocked the numbers say that we won on the glass. I don't know if I feel like that's what happened. Doesn't seem that way. But you also missed 10 free throws, had 21 turnovers against a team that was physical. They played a lot of zone too. And so really just careless basketball. And the first time that our starting group, that's been starting in this last 2 weeks, has actually played pretty good. Got off to 2 good starts. Just didn't make the plays necessary to really, really put pressure on them to have to come back. We kept having self-inflicted wounds that kept their confidence enough, kept them confident enough that they never felt like we were getting away from them.
You mentioned the zone, and you've been asked about it a bunch this season. I'm sure you're probably tired of talking about trying to beat a zone. But what is it about a zone right now that's kind of giving you guys fits?
And I feel like, you obviously got to make shots. I mean, that's the first thing. And the stats don't always tell the whole story, because I think at one point we weren't shooting awful from 3. I think, in fact, that I don't know what timeout it was, but we were 6 for 15 from 3, which is a respectable number. And obviously we shot a bunch of shots late that weren't great threes, so the numbers look poor again. But you got to get the ball to the places where the zone offense can be effective, which is the high posts and the short corners, and then you got to rebound, because you're not going to always make shots. And so what I've got to continue to do is find the right groupings to play against the zone. And tonight, a couple of those guys just weren't there, and so we didn't really have all the options available to us that we normally do.
It seemed like a handful of you guys' turnovers were, cross-court pass or some really long-range pass. Is there times where you feel like you guys are maybe trying to do too much?
No question. It's kind of the challenge of having a lot of guys, right? They really kind of know that no one's going to play 40 minutes, right? And if everybody's clicking, it's probably going to be closer to 20 to 24, 25 minutes that the guy who plays the most plays. So sometimes you get guys pressing to make plays while they're out there. And I think that happened tonight, although we didn't play as many guys, especially in the second half this time. But there's no doubt that I think that's part of it, guys trying to do too much. But also, we tried too hard tonight to force the tempo. And a couple of our turnovers were just reckless, trying to play faster than we needed to at the time.
You mentioned your starters playing better. Your bench didn't have a great day. Some really gaudy plus-minus totals. But what do you think kind of went into that they all – it's not that just one of them had a bad night. It seemed like all of them did.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one I'll have to go back and kind of look and see what was it. Because it was pretty clear from the start this time, right? It's been the opposite. It's been starters haven't been starting great, and then we've subbed and we've made up ground or have taken a lead or whatever it is. Tonight was the opposite. We got off I think we scored the first 10 points of each half, and then by the middle of each half, we were down or tied. And, I got to figure out if there was a substitution pattern difference today. I don't feel like it was, but that's something I have to go back and watch the film and see.
Depth that you have, that's not a problem that's going away. How do you manage and address that and make it the advantage it is versus nights like tonight?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's why I don't want to overreact. Depth hasn't been a problem for us. It's been a great benefit to us, actually. So that's why I got to be careful in a small sample to say this doesn't work, because through 7 games, it's worked pretty good. It's actually been these numbers have been really flipped upside down tonight from what it has been. I think we've been averaging like 53% of our points from the bench, which is really, really unusual. Just tonight wasn't that night. For whatever reason, I got to go back. It's my job to figure out why, what happened, and then to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
You have a lot of guys who could play lockdown defense. Why put ice on Tyson Etienne then?
The plan wasn't to have him primarily guard him, but clearly he did a good job. He's our most experienced defender, and the guy knows going to take the least amount of risk and get out of position in that situation. So it's a trust deal. And then, when 1K and Dell aren't what they are, those are your other 2 guys, if Avery's not on them. But obviously neither one of them played that much today.
He might be your most efficient offensive person at this point per 40 minutes or whatever analytics you look at. What do you think about his start and why is this happening?
Which part?
He's hitting threes. He's really efficient for the time that he's in there. Just kind of what do you think about his start to the year?
Yeah, he's a good player. I mean, I'm not surprised that he's playing well. He's been in our system 3 years. This is his 3rd year with us now, and I think he's settled into understanding what we expect of him. And he works hard, and when he's out there, we believe that he can be a shot maker for us. He's probably a guy we probably need to try to get more shots for, to be honest, especially from 3. He's the only one really hitting them with any level of consistency. And so that's something we'll definitely look at moving forward.
Coach, Avery had 17 points tonight, a season high for him. And this was kind of his breakout game of the season, as he said a little earlier. What were some of your takeaways of his performance, especially from shooting the long ball and everything, just looking more confident out there?
Man, I have a hard time doing the individual thing after a loss. I mean, honestly, he scored. He's a scorer. He had 6 turnovers too, though. And if you're going to be a guy that handles them all that much, I'm curious to go back and see how many of his 6 turnovers led to points, because you kind of offset, right, some of your scoring if you're also turning the ball over. So I'm proud that he looked confident out there trying to score, but there's a balance to this thing. The job when we start the game is to win. We didn't get that job done, so all the individual stuff kind of takes a backseat in that scenario.
Tyrik's been another player that's been an efficient scorer off the bench in the limited minutes that he's gotten. Do you think that you're going to lean on him more down the stretch throughout the year, so your starters don't play 30 minutes like they did tonight?
Yeah, I don't know if this is kind of a rare deal. That's not really what happens often with this group. So I don't know. Tyreek wasn't his normal efficient self either. Obviously, he had a tough stretch there, missed his 2 free throws, then gives up the layup, and then essentially shoots a free throw line jump shot the next possession. I mean, I don't know if that's the best decision to make and at that time. But it was kind of par for the course for all of us tonight. We just did make great decisions, especially on the offensive end. I mean, 51 points isn't going to get it done a whole lot. And so we got to do a better job of being more efficient, obviously taking care of the basketball, making our free throws, and then to continue to find guys who can consistently make outside shots.
We spoke about free throws before you guys went to Connecticut, hoping that those numbers would improve. How much does 47% bother you?
Oh, it's mind-numbing. I mean, it's I don't even understand, right? You got college basketball players who played this game all their life, doing something that they do every day, shooting a shot that's unguarded, the only time in the game, truly. You got as much time, essentially, as you need. 10 seconds is plenty. And it's, to me, that's a clear sign of lack of the right kind of focus for us today. And, I think the stats on our plus minus back that up pretty credibly.
we've all probably been to enough practices where we see you guys do practice free throws.
Mhm.
Do you change the way you approach it? Do you change how you practice it, even to try and kind of get them out of this funk?
Something to consider. I mean, I don't like losing, so I'm open to making adjustments in the way we do things. But at the end of the day, I've also seen this team step up and make them when we really needed them. I think in the NC State game, we made 6 straight to close it out. I think we made a bunch of them the other day when we needed to. And it's also a matter of making sure the right guys are getting there and having the opportunities to shoot them.
You were held scoreless for the last 2:53 of this game. We've kind of talked about maybe problems that went into the overall game, but I know you haven't looked at film, but do you have an idea maybe to kind of pinpoint what went wrong in those last 3 minutes?
A lot. We played like the game was running. Like it was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on every possession in the last minute of the game, and it wasn't. I mean, I still remember vividly having the ball on the side out of bounds after we forced a turnover, and we're going to get the ball with a fresh shot clock, essentially 20 seconds, 44 seconds or so left in the game, 2 possessions. And it was Avery at that time. It wasn't him every time, but he was trying to get to the rim as fast as we got plenty of time in that scenario. We got 2 timeouts, get a great shot, set your defense up, press. Maybe you play the foul game or not. Maybe you try to, but we just got rushed mentally, and it was a lot of self-inflicted wounds from that regard in the last 3 minutes that led to us not scoring. We tried too hard to score instead of just making the right play, which would have probably gotten us better shots.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
Mike.
Thanks, Mike.